What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Quentin Moran. We are here for episode 2 of the Red and White Podcast, brought to you live by Oak Grove High School in our diploma. I don't know. Brought to you by something. We will be right back. Well, Emily, welcome back to another episode of the Red and White Podcast. How you doing, sis?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Leave it up to me to play the wrong intro video. So good on me getting us started right here. So before we bring Brad on, I want to see talk to me about episode 1. How do you think yours and mine episode went? Any surprises there? What are your thoughts?
I thought it went really well. Learned some things about you that I didn't know. Cool little story about how you met your wife and had your whole little army of children.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And it was really cool to get to know more about you and your life. And I'm sure we'll continue to do this as the seasons progress and go on. And you were at that Alabama-Tennessee game yesterday, weren't you?
Oh, boy.
Holy cow. I think our guest today was there as well, if I'm not mistaken. What's your highlight? Tell me the vibe. What's the vibe at Bryant-Denny?
Well, it's really weird. I've only been to a couple of night games, and I just feel like they give off a whole nother... it's like all the party people come out. You know, there was the big rivalry with Tennessee, so there was a bunch of yakking back and forth and almost a bunch of fights, and I don't know, it was just a lot different than what I've seen in the past.
Yeah, I understand that. And then take us through, and I'll ask Brad the same question, but take us through that pick six. What was that like?
I've seen it get really crazy in there. I was at the Georgia game last year, and I thought that was that was pretty crazy, but that interception last night, I mean, that was nuts. That they said on Facebook that there was like an apartment complex that you could hear it, the roaring, like 3 miles from the stadium.
That's crazy. I don't know why, but that makes me think of one of my favorite movies, Braveheart. You know, they would all line up on the battlefield across from each other and take off screaming and yelling. And could they hear that stuff? I mean, it had to be, but yeah, I don't know, I was out of my mind, and ZB looked like he's potentially going to get caught. So he kind of stutter stepped and high stepped out of the guy and right into the end zone. But it was a great way to. Did
you see what he actually said when he caught the ball? He said his first thought was that he looked at the clock, and he said, "I knew I couldn't be stopped. I had to get to that end zone before the time ran out."
Oh wow! That's up.
What he said. I watched a little interview with him today.
That is great. Well, I'm glad you were there. I'm going to be there November the 15th to watch Alabama, I hope, beat the stew, as they say, out of Oklahoma. So we hope it works out. But today we are here to talk to our friend Brad Richardson. And he's coming up right after this intro video that you've already seen. But here you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the class president of 1996 Oak Grove High School, Mr. Brad Richardson. My man,
hey,
what's up?
Hey, not much, man. Appreciate you having me on, man. I got to listen to the first episode recently, and it was pretty good. I'm looking forward to being on here.
Yeah,
good to see you, Brad. Always good to see
y'all too.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for agreeing to do this. And I wasn't really sure when you emailed me back and said the one question that you didn't have the answer for was number 12. And so I had to go look that question up myself.
Yeah.
And funny enough, it's the Friends question. So you never watched the show, or you just you're going to leave it up to Emily and I to figure out who you are. So I just want you to know that.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I mean, I watched it. I wasn't as deep into it as a lot of other people. You know, I've seen a couple episodes, but it wasn't one of those things I had to watch every week.
Gotcha. Well, I'm kind of fumbling over my words. I'm glad it's going to be a question that's later in the program, because I'm wondering, who are you going to be? You and I will probably lean on Emily for that. How about that? Yeah. Well, why don't we go ahead and get this thing started, and start with question number 1. And so what we're going to do, just so you know, is Emily and I are I'm going to take a question. She's going to take a question. She selected the evens. So the odds, we're going to start with number 1. And number 1 is this: what state do you live in now? And look at me. Would the high school you be surprised about that?
I am still in Alabama, probably about 5 miles from where I grew up. High school me would not be surprised by that. I've always enjoyed it here, and you know, as time's going on, I've lived in Tuscaloosa for a while, but I enjoy it here. You know, it's just one of them things. You know, maybe one day I'll get away a little bit, but right now I'm good.
Well, I got to say, I'm sure Emily, you know, she might have some input on that. But last week, when she talked about just living so close to where we grew up and where we went to school, that's just something I don't have. And so I look at that and I go, man, that's awesome. I long for that. A little too late for me, but Emily, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I kind of pick up Brad, sort of like me. We're just kind of, I guess, creatures of habit. I just really not, I guess, adventurous enough to just pack up and move away. I don't know. I guess maybe, like Brad said, maybe one day. I don't even want to move from like my own place that I live in right now, even to Jasper. My husband's ready to move like 10 minutes up the road, and I'm having a fit about
it. Well, I tell you, I'm happy for you guys. I just love it there, but you know, and I was telling her too, you know, every time we go back, it's like, how can we move here? We go to Idaho. We love Idaho, but the family is making roots in Texas, and so that's where we're going to be. But I will be there November the 15th, and I hope it goes well.
You'll probably get to see Brad. You be at that game, Brad?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. We've got to make plans to meet up. All right, sis. That's good. Here you go, Emily. It's up to you.
All right, Brad. Give us your love story. Or are you married? And how'd you meet your wife?
Yeah, so I'm married. We've been married. Later this month will be 18 years. And I met her through Hump Dog, Kevin Humphreys. If you guys
Hump Dog. I ain't thought about him in a long time.
Yeah, so he was dating my wife's best friend, and I was hanging out at his apartment with him and another guy that we had worked with in high school, and she showed up, and I was like, you know, and then it just went from there.
That is great.
Right. Tell us about your children here.
Oh yeah, I have an 11-year-old daughter. She just turned 11 a couple of weeks ago. She is very, I guess, like all women, she's a little bossy, but she's full of energy. My son is 8. And he's a typical boy. He likes the sports and the playing around in video games and baseball, football, all that kind of stuff. Don't really care much about school. and he's just there to hang out with his buddies. While my daughter, she's there to hang out with her friends, but she knows she has to learn too. So they're a little different in that aspect.
I've always heard that. I only have one, but I've always heard that that each one of them, when you have more than one, they're just completely different.
Yeah,
no doubt. Your son, I have to say, I haven't had any interactions with your daughter. Never had that. But this recently we did the fantasy football draft. Your son was sitting there with you, and he is quite the entertainer. He's full of some funny stuff. So really enjoy that. And if he's around, man, bring him on. Let us get a hello from him.
Yeah, Mama's got the kids away right now. But now you might hear them barging in here in a few minutes, but for right now, it's just me.
Well, I dig it. And how are you? Let me ask you, how are you doing in fantasy football this year? Just as a quick side note.
In our league, pretty good. Doing pretty good. But it varies year to year.
It does. And I just have to say, my brother wanted me kicked out of the league a few years ago. Thank you for standing up for me. And I'm proud to say that thus far in the season, I am ranked number 3 in the league. So, and thank you for turning it into a dynasty league. It's made me better. And I just wanted to put that out publicly that I am
as much as I love football. I don't know why I've never joined or never done any of this. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should get into a league because it's fun. And this year, like every year, you pick new players, but I don't remember when it was. Maybe a couple years ago. Maybe Brad, you can explain the dynasty league as opposed to the regular pick new players every year. Tell us a little bit about the dynasty setup.
Yeah, so I guess it was about 3 years ago we swapped over to that, and basically you draft players from scratch, and then the following year, instead of just throwing all your players away and drafting a new team, you keep the people you've got. In our league, we'll draft 5 rookies, give you a little bit of time to evaluate who's on your team, and then give you a cutoff date. You make a decision. You keep these 5, you drop these 5, and take it from there.
Yeah, and it's fun. And this year, in times past, we've only been able to have, I think one of the years, probably 4 years ago or so, we got onto the chat and actually, I think you could do an audio chat of some sort. Yeah. And so we were able to talk through the draft, and that was a lot of fun. And I was like, we need to bring this fun to the public. And so this year we broadcasted live streamed the draft, and it was pretty fun. So looking forward to doing that some more.
Oh yeah, me too.
All right. So question number 3 we covered just from the kids. Do you have any pets? Do you have any cool collections? I see an Alabama memorabilia piece behind you, but what do you got there? Any pets? Any cool collections?
Yeah, we've got 2 pets. We've got a cat that we've had for, I don't know, a little over a year. I found at the ballpark when she was a kitten, about 4 weeks old. I was cleaning up a shed, and it was hot in August, and I was like,
so you were a part of the cat distribution system, as they call it.
I guess so. But I couldn't leave that thing there, and of course I FaceTime my kids, and then, which I shouldn't have done, but anyway, so we got the cat, and we've got a puppy now, a little German Shepherd. She's about 10, 12 weeks old, and we had one for about 11 or 12 years, and he died.
I did too.
And my wife was ready to get another one, and so we've got it, and she is just keeping everybody on their toes right now.
Shepherds are the best.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
I do like a German Shepherd. We took one in as a rescue for a while, and she had a hard life, so she couldn't get used to the other dogs. So we gifted her to someone else. But man, that bark, even if it's a happy bark, it'll put the fear of the Lord in you when you hear them dogs barking. Man, it's good.
My guy that I had, he was 13 when he died, and he hardly ever barked. He was just the coolest guy. Mm-hmm. I miss him. He's a good dog.
Yeah.
Speaking of having good dogs, and I don't want you guys to immediately leave this podcast with what I'm about to suggest, but our dogs are getting older, and you have to think about what's going to happen after they pass on. And I'm trying to convince my family that these are like our first family dogs. And I'm like, why don't we get a pelt made of each dog and we just get to keep them with us the whole time? And that's weirding most everybody out. Like they're tripping. Am I wrong on this? Is that a bad idea? You walk in and see there's your family dog.
I mean, I'm not as weirded out by the pelt as I would be of like an actual taxidermy dog, but you do you, I guess.
Hey, different strokes for different folks, man.
That's a fair point. So with that, we'll go into the next question, and this is on to you, Emily.
All right, Brad. What song instantly takes you back to our high school days?
Whew. Yeah, this, like you, I had to look some stuff up, and when I did, I was like, oh yeah, this one, and there's a bunch, and I wrote some stuff down. Basically, back then, Bush, Green Day, Better Than Ezra, Smashing Pumpkins. That was what a lot of people listened to. George Strait had some stuff, Brooks and Dunn, Tracy Lawrence, a bunch of that kind of stuff. So there, I can't pick just one, but there's a lot. There's a lot.
We had the best music.
Yeah.
I have heard that it was like the last great decade of music that was actually made was in the 90s. And
I would agree.
When I kind of go back and look, I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. We had some great music, and although Eye of the Tiger was not from that particular era, I distinctly remember Coach Battles coming in and screaming at me to turn it off because this ain't no jukebox. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to get fired up, Coach. He's like, get the music off. I'm like, okay, buddy. Sorry about that. Music. I don't know why I couldn't think of something just off the top of my head, but there's a lot of good music, like you say.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. All right. The next question, number 5. What part of school felt like your home base, the place you always ended up?
Yeah. But when I thought about this, it kind of surprised me, but I always think about a lot of the stuff, doing stuff at the library, which was weird because I never really saw myself as much of a library kind of person. But I can remember, 10th, 11th grade, Miss McLeod would, let me and a couple other guys come up to the library and do stuff in the mornings before school started. And, like playing games with Todd Wade and Ralph Graham and McCurley.
Ralph.
Yeah, some of those guys. And then I can remember her, during March Madness, letting us go in there and watch basketball games. And somehow I got involved with Scholars Bowl in 10th or 11th grade. And I really don't know why she let me and, Ryan Holmes and Jeremy let us on the team because we didn't really contribute that much. But she let us come in there and we'd go in there and have little study sessions and quizzes and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. So that's what I think of.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't really peruse that question for myself or Emily last week, but man, I dig that. I probably would have
gravitated. I haven't thought about Miss McLeod in years and years.
Yeah. Yeah, she would let me come in there and just with various people just come in and play chess, which I was not good at, but I enjoyed to do. And so, yeah, that's all. Dude, nostalgia. I love it. Yeah. That's a great one right there. All right, Emily, you're up.
All right, Brad, did you have a secret talent or hobby in high school that no one knew about?
I can't think of anything. I really don't. If I could think of anything, it would probably be, and I'm not going to say I'm a carpenter or anything like that, but my dad, he worked in the mines, and when he needed to make some money, if something didn't go, they were shut down or something like that, he would build houses and that kind of stuff. So I grew up a little bit working with him doing that. But I never really talked about it or did anything with it in high school. And now it's helped me out a lot here, as I've become an adult, bought my own house and had a family, building decks and adding on and those kind of things. I guess that would be it.
That's good. That's good. You mentioned, are you coaching baseball now?
Yeah, I've coached. Yeah, I've coached baseball the last 6 years, and this fall I started softball with my daughter.
Oh, very good.
I do baseball on Mondays, softball Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Don't lie, Brad. You know you like softball better.
Hey, it's a lot different, but it's fun. It is fun. I've enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. And
my husband will not watch a lick of baseball, but he will watch women's softball.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we watch games of teams we don't even care about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell you, when I moved out to California in the late 90s, like in I think 97, 98, a girl I was seeing at the time, she was in college there locally, and she had a friend that played on the softball team who was a pitcher. And so she's like, "Hey, you want to catch me?" And I'm like, "Sure, I caught in baseball. I'm good." Yeah, I wasn't ready for what she was going to do. I cannot believe the way that ball moved. As fast as it moved, as much movement. I mean, it's going up in the air as opposed to going down in the air. And I'm like, how the heck do these guys hit? And it kind of made me think, of that. Do you guys remember that show, The Pros versus Joes?
Yes.
Remember how much of a difficult time the pro baseball players had hitting the lady that pitched softball, underhand, fastball, softball?
Mm-hmm.
It's a different thing, man. It's much respect to the ladies. That's kind of tough. I bring up the baseball thing at this, at right around the halfway point, because I wanted to see if you remember this guy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's when Brad and I had the privilege of being on the Twins back in the day.
How old were you in that picture?
12.
Yep.
12.
Yes, sir. The portly Q. And your dad, excellent coach. Really enjoyed playing on his base. We had Kebo was on that team too. It was star-studded.
Yeah, we had a good team.
We did indeed. All right, let's go to the next question. Hey, Brad, any questions from you here? You're the first guest we've had on. You got any questions for us?
No, but we keep going. I'm sure I can think of something.
Okay, that sounds good. Question number 7. What was your go-to outfit or your fashion trend back in the day? Now, we saw you earlier in your video with those huge biceps standing with your wife.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah. You got all yoked up.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, man.
Was that right after high school?
That was, I want to say that's about 04.
Okay.
We were with Kevin Humphreys that weekend. We went down to Biloxi to watch Van Halen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it good? Because I saw Van Halen several years back, and David Lee Roth was with them, and it was not good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. My thing is I just wanted to see Eddie Van Halen, and he put on a show. Playing Eruption and getting on the guitar. That's what I wanted to see, and he, it was everything I thought it would be.
R.I.P. Eddie.
Yeah, we enjoyed it, but as far as outfits or fashion trends, I never wasn't really fashionable. I don't guess.
Me either.
I might have some blue jeans or some everyday wear khakis or something, and usually a t-shirt and maybe a polo or some type of button up, but normally just t-shirt.
T-shirt and jeans kind of guy. Yeah. That's good. I had to reminisce about the god awful outfit I would wear often, and I actually have a picture of that brown shirt and green corduroys, and yeah, even my wife was like, "What were you thinking, dude?" I was like, "I don't know. I just liked them both."
Yeah.
I'm not really a fashionista myself, but all right, I like it. And has that fashion since carried over into present day? I mean, still like not wearing tuxedos out in the world.
Yeah, most of my clothes come from Sam's or Walmart, except my shoes. I'll spend some money on some shoes.
Same.
What is this? That's right. That's right. What's your go-to tennis shoe while we're talking about it? Because I'm terrible about shoes.
Hoka Bondi.
Hoka what?
The Hoka Bondies.
Okay.
I've been buying them for 10 years. And, you know, I went to a store one time. My brother and I were going to run a race, do a Spartan race. And this was 10 years, little over 10 years ago. So I go in there as outdoor store. I said, I want the most comfortable thing you got. And this woman brought these shoes out, and they were ugly.
They're awful.
I put them things on my feet, and I said, I don't care what they look like. I'm buying them.
Is that right?
Yeah. And so that's what I've been wearing ever since.
How do you spell that?
Hoka.
Hoka. Okay. Yeah. I've always struggled. I've got weird feet. I've always struggled to get the right pair of shoes. And I finally, when we first moved to Texas, you know, we sold our house in California. So I had some money in the bank, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
And I found the Under Armour shoes that The Rock had that he made. And I was like, wow, these actually fit. And so I bought 2 pair. I don't want to tell you what the price of those were, but one pair I've not worn yet. I'm just keeping them in the box until it's the right time. Emily, what about you? What's your go-to tennis shoe?
I'm an On Cloud Surfer girl.
On Cloud Surfer.
On is the brand, but the submodel is the Cloud Surfer. Those are excellent shoes. They're very cushiony. The Hoka's always just felt weird on my feet. I tried several different pair. But I've had like 3 or 4 pair of these exact same shoe. I just buy the newer model as they come out.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard of that. I don't know if I've heard of either one of these shoes. So I'm living under a rock here in Fort Worth, Texas.
They're very cushy.
Yeah, we're a little further along out here in Alabama.
So. I think you're right. So as bad as I've been about the fashion trend, I'm even further behind. I'm trending towards the caveman, and I guess that's okay. All right, sis, you're up. Your question.
All right, let's get deep here, Brad. If you could go back and give your high school self one piece of advice, what would it be?
There's a couple of things that popped in my head when I was thinking about this, and I don't know which one I would rank ahead of the other. I would say trust your gut is a good one. There's been a lot of times in my life since high school where things have come up, and maybe I know the answer, but I don't really know that I know the answer. Control what you can control. There's always things that happen in your life that you either have control over it or you don't, and if you don't, then do the best you can. And then also, when you look back and you think about when you're in high school and you graduate, you're like, all right, I got that over with. But it's just starting. Everything is just starting right there. And
that's right.
You got a lot more learning to do, so get ready.
I tell kids every day at school when I'm subbing, I'm like, they can't wait to grow up and graduate and get out of school. And I'm like, hey, you better hold your horses. You ain't seen nothing yet.
That's right. Yeah. You've got to be a really fun substitute teacher. What take me through a substitute teacher experience with Emily.
I'm just going to keep it real here. Let's not kill each other or do drugs or do inappropriate things. And other than that, don't leave the classroom or don't leave the school. Other than that, if you're quiet, we're cool. Everybody says I'm the coolest sub because I'm just chill.
Yeah.
I can dig that.
It takes a lot to make me really upset. A lot.
So there's no push-up contest between you and the students to take a test and nothing like that?
No.
Well, you're probably the kind of substitute we would all love.
Well, I'm afflicted with this, and I guess this has been, carried with me my whole life. Apparently, I have a face where people just tell me things. So sometimes it's not cool. Sometimes subbing is very sad, but.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You do have that approachable aura about you. And
apparently I do. People out in public do it too. I don't know. Sometimes I wish they didn't.
This has me thinking about another question that we should add at some point, which is if you could go back in time and be a substitute teacher in any class, any one of our classes, who would you want to be in the class and why? And I think we'd have a good time with that.
Yeah, that's probably a good question.
I remember, Brad getting really sick during one of those classes, and we got a family member. Come on in.
Come here. Come here.
Uh-oh.
Hurry up. You can come here. Somebody will say hey to you real quick. Come here. This is Porter.
Hey.
Porter.
How you doing?
Who's that?
That's Mr. Quincy and that's Miss Emily. Tell him roll tide. So he's going to come to the Oklahoma game with us.
Is he? I can't wait to see you in person, sir. Thanks for being on the draft broadcast. It's good to have you on live TV once again. You're a movie star. He said, I'm out.
Come here, baby.
What's happening?
Hurry up real quick.
What?
Sorry for the delay.
No.
What? What are we doing?
Hello.
Hello there.
This is PJ, and this is Mr. Quincy and Miss Emily.
Okay.
You're
Nice to meet
on
you.
live TV right now.
Oh, I'm on live TV.
All right,
So her name is
I thought you were doing a podcast. Or something.
hurry up. Sorry about that.
No.
Yeah,
Welcome
I enjoyed it.
It's your episode. You can do whatever you want. You're the freaking boss. That's great. So your daughter goes by PJ?
Yeah.
That's awesome. One of my best friends in the world is her name is PJ, and she's one of the most intense people I know on the planet. And she's a former bodybuilder, very successful.
Okay.
And she's about 5'0", but she carries the persona of like an 8 foot
I was about
gorilla.
to say she got little man syndrome, got a big personality.
Yeah, she does. She is so entertaining. So, all
So
right,
what does
I'm gonna
PJ
write.
stand for, Brad?
That's a good question.
Presley Jane.
Presley Jane. Okay.
Presley Jane Richardson.
Jane
I
is
like
my wife's middle name, her mom's name, and then actually I've got an aunt named Jane also, so kind of a family thing. But more
Yeah,
on
that's
mom's
how
side.
I'm Emily Lynn, Abby is Abby Lynn, and my mom was Vicky Lynn, so it kind of carried on too.
Ooh, I love that. That's good. I guess I could throw in there. I'm Quincy Wayne, and my son is is Hunter Wayne. And actually, my first and middle name were from both of my grandfathers, but it wasn't their real names. It was what they were called. So my dad's name was Harold Horace Moran Sr., but at the Hueytown Fire Department, I guess they called him Quincy. So I got that name. Praise the Lord for that, because my dad was trying to name me Leroy. This is not a joke. So
I
I still kid my dad today. It's like, Dad, you almost named me Leroy. What are you doing? But thanks to my mom, she edged him out. And then so my grandfather's name. Yeah. Could you imagine that? My grandfather's on my mother's side, his name was Wayman, but they called me Wayne. And then I handed that name down. I thought I was going to have a few more sons and I was going to get a junior out of there. But after him, we kicked out 7 girls in a row. So didn't happen. I guess I could have named one of the girls Quincy, and I fail. All right. Question number 9. This is on me. What kind of car did you drive to school?
I drove an 84 Caprice Classic. And if I was lucky, my dad would let me drive his 92 Nissan pickup with the camper on the back, and I could throw my brothers in the back and drive to school.
That is good stuff. The Caprice. That was like a mainstay in our parking lot at school, wasn't it? Was there a lot of those?
I don't really remember any others.
Was yours the only one?
There may have been. If there was, I can't remember.
Maybe it was just that car in general, because I do remember seeing plenty of those. Maybe it was
Let me
a
ask
Bruno.
y'all something. Does it not kind of feel refreshing that, like, when we were that age, we didn't really care what we drove? Like, everybody, like, as long as you had a ride, we were all cool with it. Kids these days, they're not like that.
Oh, yeah.
I was happy to drive whatever. So I'm with you in that camp for sure. All right. I think this is one of our favorite questions of the entire episode 1, and it goes to Emily.
What was your favorite lunch from the world's greatest high school cafeteria?
You know, I've back in school, I was a picky eater, um, and you know, I've branched out a lot since I was in high school. But I always liked those pizzas. I don't know what it was. You know, you could get a lot. Uh, it wasn't like Pizza Hut or Papa John's or anything like that. But I always enjoyed the pizzas. I know Miss Howell. Kind of like you said, they would have the hot sauce for you, Quincy. I could go in the back and like, hey, can y'all throw me some pizzas in the oven? And they'd sell me some pizzas in the back in the kitchen.
Backdoor pizza deals. I love it.
Yeah, but I like those. The pork chops. You talked about the potato bars and those kind of things. Uh, they it was good. You know.
I'm sad to report that we still have pizzas like that now,
Hmm.
but they're made with like some kind of wheat something or in it. I don't know. It's just not.
Yeah.
Like, why are we changing that?
Yeah.
Why do you change greatness? It was a great lunchroom.
It was.
All right, here comes the most difficult question of the day. What character would you be on Friends? And I'm still struggling, I have to admit. Which one? He's an anomaly, so maybe not a main character, but which one of the characters would he be? Tom Selleck? I don't know. Emily, what do you think?
I would think he's given sort of like a Ross vibe, because Brad is like he's like a really nice guy, but he's really, really funny too.
Okay. I'm going to defer to her, and I'm going to sign you up for Ross.
All right, that'll work.
All right, that'll work. Let me write that down. I can use it for future use. I like it. All right. What is your funniest memory? I can't imagine where this is going to go. I know mine involves the Dr. Pepper and you running to the restroom, but we'll save that for another day.
I don't really have one that stands out. Cutting up with Ryan and Jeremy. We did a lot of crazy stuff, or stuff that we thought was funny at the time.
It was funny.
It was funny.
Dressing up in the suits, and I think it was Ryan is like, yeah, let's spray paint our shoes gold too, and like, okay, let's do like the Beastie Boys. All right, look. All right,
I can literally still see y'all running across that field.
Yeah,
it's iconic, man. It is an iconic memory that has never left me. I mean, I just, you got to know that.
It's funny how things stick. I mean, I can literally just still see that like it was yesterday.
Yeah, and then we had the we called the Caprice one. I think it was Jeremy. It was Ryan or Jeremy brought the little flags to put on the front like the presidential limo, and so we would call it Caprice one. And we had Kevin come drive us up and let us jump out. He was the chauffeur or whatever.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what I did. I confused the Caprice with the Chevy Cavalier, because the Cavalier is the one I saw everywhere. So thinking back to that moment, you said the flags, and it brought me back to the car. So yeah, I was in error. It was the Chevy Cavalier that was everywhere.
I actually had a Cavalier my senior year.
Okay. I think it was Jimmy Sims that had the Dodge Stealth. That.
I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Before a football game, too many of us piled in, and he wanted to show us that it would do 140 miles an hour, and I can testify that it did. But I think back and I go, I would have wrung my own neck.
Yeah.
Good gracious. But those were the times. Anyway, that memory, for you guys running across the field, checking your watches. I mean, that is iconic. If there's anything that's iconic, which there are plenty of things about our class, man, that was definitely iconic.
Yeah.
All right. What's that?
That's a lot of fun.
Yes, it was. All right. Which teacher or teachers made a positive impact on your life, and how?
Whew. There's several. And I wrote down some of the names. I went back looking through an annual earlier today, and there was a bunch of them. So Miss Polly, she kind of pushed you a little bit more than I'd been pushed before doing stuff in school. Miss Strong, she was stern, but when you got to know her and I guess talked to her a little bit, she was very relatable. Coach Shaw, he was just always the cool teacher, real kind of like I don't know how you describe his personality, maybe smooth, but
I was his teacher's aide one year, and I just thought that was like the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah. He, but you could tell he had a little bit of world experience behind the stuff he was teaching. And I don't know what all this guy knows, but I need to try to pick up on some of it. Miss Early, Miss Strickland, which I still see Miss Strickland a lot.
I haven't thought about her in a long time either.
Yeah. Yeah, I run into her probably a couple of times a year. She'll come by work and say hey and things like that. So that's real nice. And, we talked about when we had our little meeting to go over all this stuff, and we were talking about getting teachers on. We mentioned Coach Shaw. Well, about a week later, I run into him, and I told him to be expecting a call. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
Did he say he'd be up for it?
Yeah. Yeah. I said, you'll probably get a message on Facebook or something like that. But same old guy, he was out. He's got a little job that he works 2 or 3 days a week for about 2 or 3 hours at a time. And I was at doing a promotional thing for work, and he just happened to come in and talk to him for a little bit. It was good to see him. But, going back to some of the other teachers, Miss McLeod, she knew everything. And, when the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire got popular, I'd always joke around with my brothers and friends, like, if I ever get on this show and
she's your phone a friend,
I'm calling Miss McLeod, and I don't know if y'all, Quincy and, back when we were younger, like 7th, 8th grade, and we had Coach Hicks.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I thought about him the other day after me and Quincy got done with ours. I actually thought about him and his trailer.
Yeah. That was probably, of all the classes that I had, just going to his, I don't even know if he ever really taught much, but he talked about stuff that just, to me, was so interesting that I always loved going to his class. And
I always thought he just looked like the toughest old dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he did the stomach. He did the stomach trick, right?
Oh, yeah.
Put your finger in my stomach. Whack! You feel like it's going to break your stomach. Yeah, just a super tough guy. And he was actually, somehow he was friends with my papa on my dad's side. I don't know. I can't remember how they knew each other, but they knew each other very well. So we would have many conversations about him. And his class was a lot of fun to be in. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's good. Any teachers that came to your memory or that you might want to talk about, Emily? As we go along in each episode, I think we'll have more memories sparked up, and so we'll always be able to take the opportunity to talk a little bit more, about.
It's funny because when he was bringing up McCurley and Ralph and them, it started making me think about Mr. Hart.
Yeah.
That dude was funny. He was an odd guy.
Yeah.
And McCurley used to just carry on with him. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
do y'all remember Miss Ashcraft? Do y'all remember how the okay? McCurley would have it. He would like tally mark how many times during.
Oh, that is so good. Yeah,
he would make her mad, and he would turn his notebook around. He'd have pop quiz wrote on it, and he'd be like, "Pop quiz, pop quiz."
McCurley, dude, that guy, one of a kind. Him and his brother both, just one of a kind.
Yeah.
I think at some point, Brad, we ought to get some of the football team on here and have a little roundtable podcast as well. I think that'd be fun to do sometimes. And did any of y'all? I don't remember if you did, but did any of y'all take FFA when we were
I did
in
not.
school? Okay.
No.
Mr. Harris was the teacher. He actually, for some reason, let me sing on the quartet, which I'm not a singer, but he let me be a part of it. And that guy, well, first of all, disclaimer, he was an Auburn fan, or he is an Auburn fan. And we made a bet, one year about the Alabama-Auburn game, and he lost, and he ponied up. He did what he was supposed to do, wore the Alabama shirt. But he was a great teacher, and really, really appreciate, who he was in my life. And like I say, as we go along, I'm sure that, there'll be memories that come about, as our classmates stir up things about, the life and times that we had that maybe we didn't think about. But I just got to thinking about it because there was such a handfuls of teachers that we had, Coach Woodall, Coach McKinney. Coach McKinney he was the dude, man. He was the dude. Good guy. He's our junior high JV football coach. And so, yeah, good times. All right, question number 14.
What was your favorite subject, and did it influence your career?
My favorite was English, and it did. I didn't know it at the time, but a lot of, getting into work and stuff like that, I have to write a lot of reports, and some of them had to be very detailed and structured. And a lot of that kind of, learning to do that at that age helped me out a lot.
Yeah, I guess shame on me. I didn't put anything in here about what's your current career. Hey, why don't you tell us what you do for a living?
Yeah, I'm a lieutenant, police lieutenant. I've been in law enforcement for about 22 years now. Done just about everything you can do in it. Most of my time was on patrol as an officer and supervisor. Was a detective, did crime scenes. Now I'm more of an administrative role, doing hiring, training, purchasing, making sure people have what they need, that kind of stuff.
Were you a nice cop, Brad? I could just picture you as kind of like a nice cop. You weren't.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, when I train guys, I'm like, look, you be as nice to people as they'll let you be, because it'll pay off for you. I've had several people that, I've had interactions with that might not have been the most positive for them, but you treat them in a respectful way, and down the road, it'll pay off for you. Several of those people came back, hey, you might want to know about this, and this right here is going on. So yeah, I try to be. Sometimes you just can't be. You just take everything as it comes.
Yeah, it has to be a very difficult job because typically you're not seeing people in their best moments. I mean, it's not like you're not typically celebrating when you guys are showing up. So right. Kudos to you for what you do. And it's something that I considered. I just don't. I thought about being a prison guard out in California. And I'm glad somebody talked me out of it, because that would have been some rough times. And my grandfather on my mother's side, he retired from I think LA County prison, and just probably not something I was cut out to do. So didn't work out for me. But kudos to you for getting it done, and congrats on a 22-year career in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
For the record, how many times have you had the privilege of arresting Josh Moran? Can you disclose that? Is that public knowledge?
Me personally, 0.
Ah, well, that's kind of a letdown. But there's always time. We're coming out. He's coming out in November as well, sir. So I just want to, for the record, state that Josh he'll be in the area.
Yeah, just text me. Let me know what kind of car he's going to be in.
It probably won't be a Caprice or a Cavalier, but I got your back. Don't worry. All right. That is the end of the questions. Emily, any questions that we didn't turn up? Anything you want to ask?
Not that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Okay. I think we pretty much covered it all. Brad, anything you want to talk about that we didn't cover? Anything you want to say to class of 96?
No, hey, like you guys brought up on the last episode, we're getting close to a 30-year reunion. So it don't seem like it's been that long. But, talking with Emily, yourself, Linda, and Cindy, seems like we got a group that wants to get something done. So we'll start digging into that.
I would love it. Yeah, I'd love to do something.
We'll start digging into that and see what we can't get going. Get in touch with everybody. Yeah,
that's excellent. All right. Well, I'm glad you made it on the episode, Class Prez. Thank you, brother.
Thank y'all for having me, and I appreciate what y'all are doing. I think this is really good. People are going to enjoy it, especially as more as it, the more it grows, the better it's going to get, and I just appreciate you asking me to come on.
I'm proud of you, bro. You're a good little dude. You're a good little dad. You had a job for a really, really long time. You've been married for a long time. Good for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for contributing positively to society.
Absolutely.
And I mean that, even though it might sound like a joke. It's true. And I think the world of you and your family, and love you guys. And thanks for welcoming me in when I came, to the Oak Grove family. And like I say, your dad is an icon in my life, coaching me baseball. Always just showed me, tender love and care, the TLC, and that I appreciated. So thank you very much. And your final words, I'm sure they're going to include Roll Tide. Hey, wait a minute. You were at that game yesterday. We need to hear from you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a really good game. Like Emily said there, right, about the last 9 seconds before halftime, they got to throw the ball. And, when we made that interception, like she said, that's one of the loudest times I've heard that stadium. That Georgia last year, those were two right up there. But it was a lot of fun.
Let me ask your opinion, Brad. Was the atmosphere kind of different last night because it was like a night game, or was it because like it was a Tennessee game? Because like I just noticed, like I say, a lot more like party type people. There were people that were like falling down. I mean, it was.
It's a combination. It was a combination of being a night game. People, I guess. I don't want to say celebrating, but people getting ready for the game, so to speak, all day long. You got all day to hang out and do whatever you're going to be doing. But the fact that it was Tennessee, the team is coming back from a slow start this year. You're looking at the 4th-ranked team in a row, and people can kind of see the hunger that the players have, and just trying to keep feeding into that. I think all that contributed to the atmosphere.
I think we definitely feel like a different team this year versus last year. It's kind of given like that, like you say, the anger and the hunger and stuff. It's kind of given like, old school Saban kind of vibes there.
Yeah. You see the coach coming out slapping the goalpost and yelling. He's like, yeah, let's go.
That's it. And I love that. And, I couldn't be happier that Ryan Williams found himself last night. Like he reemerged, and some of those catches he made, Josh is bragging about and I just bring Josh up because he and I watch the games together. He's bragging about the throws that were amazing. I take nothing away from Ty. I mean, that man has got what it takes. But the pitch and the catch there for Ryan to make some of those, they were pivotal, needed them for first downs. And I don't think he dropped one last night. I think there might have been a target, but I don't think he dropped one last night. So certainly kudos to him and this team holding Tennessee to 20 points. Yeah. It's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. All right. Well, that's it for this episode of the Red and White. Your final words, Brad, up to you.
Hey, like I said, just enjoyed being here. Looking forward to what's coming. And Roll Tide.
That's it. Roll Tide. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this particular episode. Emily, any final thoughts from you on class president, Brad Richardson.
Like I said, he's outdone himself. Brad's a good dude.
He is a good dude. It was
One
great to have him on. One of the good guys. I totally agree. It was great to have him on. Well, sis, thank you very much again for being a part of this and being my co-host. And it's a good time, and looking forward to now next week. You're not going to be available, so
I may be back. Are you still going to go without me if?
I plan on doing it, but if you want to pause until you're available, then we'll make arrangements, and next week we'll take the week off.
You could go ahead, but I'm just saying there may be like a slight possibility that I'm back, and if I am, I can just hop on.
Okay, would love to, definitely love
just
to have you on.
Just waiting to see how traffic and everything is coming home from Gatlinburg.
You got it. So we'll take it offline and then see. We'll talk through it and then see where we're at, and then we will let the people know. Other than that, it was a great episode. I'm going to go back and check it out. There's things I got to do over here on this side that I don't get to listen to every single thing, so I'm looking forward to picking this one up. And if you have any final words, go ahead and give it, and then I'll run us out.
Like Brad said, it's just always roll tide.
That's it. Roll tide. I think the markers have come back out, and people that are left on the schedule might be circling their day to face the Tide, and maybe they'll get the last laugh after all. I'm looking forward to finding out.
Me too.
All right. For Emily Grooms Malden, I'm Quincy Moran. This is the Red and White. It's the podcast for Oak Grove High School, class of 1996 and beyond. We'll see you next time, friends. We're out.
Good night, guys.